Hi, welcome to a new tutorial. This is how I make my global shaders for my game. Something to just overlay the entire game area so that your game looks a bit more clean, crispy, whatever you want it to be. Um, I thought to share this because it's especially handy for game jams. If you have bad pixel art or stuff, you can just have an overlay shader which will make it look more old style or new or retro, whatever you want. And it's actually pretty easy to do. It only takes a couple of minutes. So how I did it in my current project is I created a shader resource. How you do that is you just right click, create a new resource. It's called shader material. You create the shader material. I'll just call it tutorial. Save. You open this up and then you create a new shader. Create, just like that. And if you then double click this shader, you'll see that you have this editor area here. And then what I like to do is go to godotshaders.com and just you can search all kind of shaders what you like here. Just select one. Here, for example, it has code. You just copy the code and you paste it in here. And that's the shader done. Once you've created the shader, you need to add it to your scene. So how you're going to do that is add a canvas layer to your game scene. So this is my map that I can play on. So I've added the canvas layer with a color rect. It's very important that you set the size of the color rect to the screen size, because otherwise your shader won't cover the full screen. So you'll have, like, if I set it to this, only this part will be having the shader, the other part will just render normally. That looks like shit, so don't do that. And what you're then gonna do when you have the color rect, you're gonna set the material to that shader resource that you've just created, and that's basically it. Then it will look pixelated in your game. You can then also play around with those parameters while running the game to see how it looks and change up the stuff. I can show you when I start my game like this. It looks very pixelated right now, but when I turn down this part, it looks even worse. So you can play around with this stuff a bit to make it look more to your liking. Um, One thing to watch out for is that if you have, for example, a player with his own canvas layer, for me it has like a stamina bar and lives left, it's important that you change the layer index so that it's still drawn on top of the one from your map scene. Otherwise, your UI of your player will also get blurry because of the shader. And that's it. That's the entire thing you need to do to set it up. And again, for a game jam, this can really up your game, scoring a few extra points. So I really recommend to do it. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask, and then I'll see you in another tutorial. Bye bye.